Let me introduce you to our speaker for this session. The session's process improvement and change management. This is Sarah VanHoose. She owns and operates an online coaching business, Journey to Influence. Sarah's background is as a leader in a large healthcare organization where she brings facilitation, operations strategy, and provides improvement skills. Please welcome Sarah.
Guys, I'm so excited to talk to you. We are on the cusp of Valentine's Day. Anybody celebrate yesterday? Right? Anybody send anybody flowers? Something? I want to start out my story today by telling you about another holiday. Let's see, cue slide here. Access Services Week. Is there any patient access in the house? Yes, okay. You guys know that we celebrate Patient Access Services Week well, right? If you're in the hospital environment, you've seen patient access celebrate that first week in April pretty well. We do a pretty bang-up job. There are treats, there are games, there is always food, all kinds of fun things. We don't quite rival Nurses Week, but Patient Access Week is really up there. On this particular Access Services Week in 2016, I was starting a new job. I had been on the hospital side of patient access for a number of years, I think 15 probably at that point, and I was moving to the business office side, right? The billing office, insurance verification, authorization, customer service, patient estimates. So I was going off hospital, right, onto the business office side. And you guys, those people, when they're off-site and they don't have patients in front of them, they do Patient Access Services Week even bigger, right? It's just even more theatrical. In fact, it was a circus theme. On my first day, Access Services Week, my first day, new job, I walk in and there is actually a circus tent as I walk into the room. I was like, wow, these people have really got it going on. Games, food, all the things. First day I walk into this job. You know, it's the traditional, like I tour, I meet some people, walk around, check out my new office, right? Sit down, put my stuff down. And my director tells me that we're gonna have a meeting with the regional director at 10. Great, you know, looking forward to it. Can't wait to kind of dig in and find out what I'm into. I'm sure that she's gonna welcome me and it's gonna be a great meeting. I get to the meeting, I'm you know, anticipating the welcome. It starts well with a welcome, and then it turns to, Sarah, we have got something serious going on here with patient access over on this side, and we're in trouble. We need to do a reorganization of our department. It probably should have happened yesterday, but we've been waiting for your arrival. We need to take our team of 150, and we're going to have to reduce some staffing. Some of our work is moving off-site to another location, and we've got a whole lot of change that needs to happen, and it needs to happen in about 6 weeks. Welcome to the job, right? I was like, can I turn around? This isn't really what I want. I was like, okay, yeah, challenge accepted. 6 weeks, I need to have a plan together in order to really reorg this department. We had out of this world denials, right? We weren't getting the revenue that we needed, process inefficiencies, staffing issues, we had high turnover, we had caregiver engagement. Like, you list your problems today, it seemed like we had all of them sort of rolled up into one. And I had a really short timeline, and it was new, right, to all of the people that I needed to meet and greet. So it really felt like a circus, you guys, I swear. Day one, I was like, oh my Lord. It felt like a really big thing. So I put together a plan. I was like, all right, if I am going to reorg this team in 6 weeks, I'm gonna need some things. Of course, I didn't have any money. They couldn't give me any money to reorg the thing. I had to kind of do it like in-house. We had to figure out what to do. So I started out by having and scheduling over the course of the next 6 weeks a whole lot of coffee dates. I needed to get to know these people in a really kind of rapid fire way. So getting to know them, letting them getting to know me. I took 5 people out for coffee every afternoon, every day for 6 weeks in order to get through the team. There was a lot of coffee consumption. I talked to my husband, like, hey, we're gonna hit the debit card, you know, with some extra coffee runs for the next 6 weeks. You cool with that? It's like, sure, as long as you can keep your job, right? There's a whole reorg happening. At the same time, I said, hey, I need the time of these people, right, to help me figure out what we're gonna do differently. I knew about denials, I knew about authorizations, but I didn't know about denials and authorizations at that point. I was privy to it, but I had not been in the thick of it, right, like the rest of my team had been. So I asked for some time to do some think tanks. And with those think tanks pulled together, I had to use my resource to be like, who are our people? Who are the leaders, right? They could be formal leaders or informal leaders on this team. Who do people listen to, right? That they're going to give us their honest feedback and then be able to provide some solutions, some legit solutions that we need in order to turn this ship around in 6 weeks. So the think tank was born, the reorg think tank was born. And there were several things that were out of scope for me, as you can see. That things could not stay the same. I was told, like, you can't come back and tell me that things are just fine the way that they are, because we know that they're not. Nobody can work at home. That changed later, but you know. Caregiver specific tasks. We were changing people's teams. So if they were reporting to the Oregon team before, or the Washington team, or the California team, nobody got to pick their spot, right? We weren't gonna let anybody like choose their destiny. And there was no more staffing or FTE allowed in this process. So I didn't have a lot to work with, but I did have some really great people in on these think tanks. Think tank, they're just meetings, right, where we're bringing brains together in order to make some change. We used a lot of sticky notes. You know, our whole Staples allotment of sticky notes was definitely used over those 6 weeks, where we were brainstorming and prioritizing and figuring out what needed to change in order to make this big shift. You know, we had some big asks in terms of what was happening there. So results. So 6 weeks in, we had a solid plan in place that was approved in order to make those shifts. So here's what we were seeing. It didn't happen in 6 weeks. On the 6-week dot, we were not all of a sudden seeing all of this increased revenue, but we had the systems in place in order to transition. So decreased denials, increased productivity, streamlined efficiencies, improved engagements, better standards, and accountability. All the things that we want, right? And it really needed to happen in this group effort in order to get it there. I was tired also, by the way, at the end of the time. Okay, I feel like I missed a slide. Maybe not. Okay, I did not do it alone, right? I really had to do it together. Again, like I was brand new to the team. I did not know what I was doing. I needed this group to be facilitated. Helen Keller says, alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. So why was it beneficial to do it together? Why do I want you to do change management together with your teams? You need to create buy-in. They're the ones doing the work, right? If you don't have their buy-in, you're not gonna make your train's not gonna leave the station. So making sure that you've got team buy-in is so important. There's power in having somebody write their own ideas down and have it brought forward in order to see some change happen. There's power in the Post-it note, you guys, I'm telling you. There's power in being able to share your ideas, and also your colleagues, right? If you know that your colleague's in a think tank, you know that your colleague's gonna be involved in some decision making, there's some extra trust that happens when that goes in, and you need that buy-in in order to make change. You don't know it all. Is this a shocker to anybody? No, it shouldn't be. You don't know it all. Your team, right, the boots on the ground, they know some of these processes inside and out, and you need to tap into them in order to see those changes happen. If you are not utilizing your team, I assure you that you are wasting time, talent, and money by not utilizing them. So I really want you to use your team, right? We're gonna do some exercises today that you're gonna be able to turn around and bring to your teams. Practical and tactical is really how I roll. I'm gonna give you some tools to do today that you're gonna be able to implement soon after. So here's my promise. You're gonna learn a few tools. You're gonna practice said tools. You are gonna pick a favorite or two. You're not gonna love them all, and that's okay, right? But there's gonna be one you're like, yeah, I think I could really use this on a project that I'm doing. I'm hoping that you leave with a knowledge and desire to implement and create real change tomorrow. I'm not gonna teach you something that's gonna take you 6 weeks to implement. I'm gonna teach you something over the next 60 minutes that you're gonna be able to turn and implement tomorrow. You guys ready? Yes, okay. All right, a little bit about me. Sunshine introduced me. My background is in healthcare, healthcare leadership, patient access, you heard me. I spent 20 years with Providence Health and Services and then retired from there in 2021 and opened my own coaching and consulting business where I get to talk about process improvement and change management on the regular, typically in the finance space, both small business and then also personal finance. And then I get to do some of this like this today too. Okay. If you're writing anything down, this is a great little equation for you to hold on to. Q times A equals E. You need a quality solution. You need acceptance in order for it to be effective. If you have a crappy solution, but you have acceptance, you're still not going to have an effective solution. If you've got a great solution, but you don't have your team adopting that, not going to be effective. You need both components in order to make real change. So Q times A equals effective change. So how are you going to do it? I have done some CAP training and some workout training and some Lean and Six Sigma training. And what I'm going to bring to you today is just my favorites from all of those. CAP, or change acceleration process, is typically used when the solution is already identified. You are going to be implementing X. You are going to reduce your staffing by Y. Right? You don't really have no say-so in what the actual solution is going to be, but you have to bring forward change within that. So CAP tools are typically used when you don't get a say-so in what the solution is, but you still need to bring your team along. And then Lean, Six Sigma, Kaizen comes from Lean as well. I'm sure you've heard of it. These are waste elimination processes. So steps, improved workflow, trying to reduce steps, not take more steps. You're trying to be more efficiency with particular processes. That's when Lean tools are typically utilized. And then workout is my personal favorite. There's no solution known, but you got to find a solution and then you need adoption at the same time. So it's really heavy hitting. We need to do both sides of the coin or both pieces of the work. So let's see. I'm going to take you through a couple of slides that have some examples of a few tools, and then we're going to do some of them on our own. The change acceleration process model is really around that adaptation process, right? We need our teams to adapt what that looks like. So there's several tools that come around creating shared vision, shaping a vision, creating a shared need, mobilizing commitment, making those changes last, and monitoring progress. It's all the change work. That's what's happening with CAP. This is an example of a SIPOC. Stands for supplier, inputs, process, outputs, and a customer. So it's a different version of a process map where you're getting some input into what all of those steps look like and getting them organized and then finding some efficiencies within those as well. This is a Lean tool called a spaghetti diagram, very fun to draw. This is monitoring steps or helping you to understand just how many steps and how what waste looks like so that you can help eliminate that. And it's time for you to write some things down, right? Cue slide with man and a pen. Okay, I want you to draw a donut. Not a maple bar, not a bear claw, just your traditional round donut. I'm going to wait for you guys. All right, I can demonstrate how to draw a donut. You didn't bring me here for my drawing skills, but right, it looks like this. Okay, everybody? All right, this is a circle of influence exercise. This is a great exercise at the beginning of any think tank workout meeting. It's also very well thought of when you actually bring donuts to the meeting as well, right? Bring donuts, talk about the donut exercise, circle of influence. What we're talking about here in the center, right, your donut hole, is what you have control of, right? So that's your control circle. Your donut itself, right, that is your circle of influence. You have influence over the things that fall into that category. Anything outside of the donut is outside of your control. So as you start to bring forward a problem, like financial wellness, you're going to have your team members, right, that are going to start sharing ideas related to that, right? Maybe you start doing some solutioning. And they bring something up, and then we have to ask the question, right? Your facilitator's like, okay, Johnny, what do you have on your Post-it there? We all need more raises. Great, okay. Anybody heard that before? So you have to ask the question, where does this fit, right, in our circle of influence? Is it in our control? Is it in our influence? Or is it out of our control? And your group, right, your group at the table helps decide where you're going to land that Post-it note for bigger raises. You don't decide, right, as the leader. The facilitator does not decide. You can provide some input. Let me tell you how that works. Like, let me tell you what it looks like, right, for us to be able to do that. And the team helps determine where you land that Post-it note. Is it in your control? Is it in your influence? Or is it out of your control? This is going to help set the tone for what you're going to work on. We're not going to work on everything under the sun that needs to be solved today. We're going to be able to work on the things that are inside our control. We're going to make a plan for the influence thing, and we're not going to forget about the things that are outside of our scope, but we're really going to focus on the things that are inside our donut hole. Make sense? Easy to implement, right? Everybody could go draw a donut, bring donuts, and you're going to be a favorite tomorrow. Okay, circle of influence. Easy. Parking lot. Equally easy. You just write the word parking lot on a large Post-it note, draw a car if you want to feel so fancy. This is a place where you're going to validate your team's ideas without losing them, right? That's a great idea, Sally. It's not going to fit within our scope right today. I don't think that we can manage that, but I do want to put it on the parking lot, and I'm going to come back to it, right? That's incredibly validating to be like, yeah, I heard you, right? I understand what you're saying, and I'm not going to lose your idea. It's not the right thing here. I don't want to go down that rabbit trail today, right? It's not the right scope for this meeting, but I value what your feedback is. Ground rules, also very important. In a workout style meeting where you're trying to implement change, you need discussion. You need honest discussion, right? So being able to come up with ground rules and having your team bring those ground rules, what does it look like for you? What does it look like to make a safe space? How can you create a safe space in that room for open and honest dialogue? Sometimes you'll hear that there are Vegas rules, like we got Vegas rules, whatever happens in here, we're not sharing. I don't encourage that often in a change management meeting. I want people to talk about what we're doing, right? I want you to go spread the news, right, that there's change happening and it's positive and that other people got input. Sometimes we use what I've called Reno rules, not quite Vegas rules, like talk about the process, but maybe not the details. Talk about how we went about going about the business, but maybe not spreading the details depending on what that looks like, what the scope of that problem is. Create ground rules with your teams. Let them bring the ground rules forward. Okay, I want you to quietly think about a problem that you're dealing with in your space. Something that your team is dealing with, something that you're dealing with. Maybe it fits into one of these buckets as I was reflecting on what you may be challenged with. These are the things that I came up with. Maybe you've got increased denials, right, on your team with a particular payer, resulting in hundreds and thousands of dollars of lost revenue. That could be a problem. I mean, it is a problem. It could be your problem. I don't know. Customer collections. Maybe there's missed opportunities for point of service collections, co-pays, deposits, or back-end payments. Maybe you have a staffing shortage. There's some reduced FTE, but the workload has not necessarily changed. Maybe employee engagement is an opportunity with low scores in a particular category. So I want you to think about a problem that you're facing at work right now. If you are full of problems and you want to write down 2 problems, you certainly can, but 1 problem per Post-it note. So I want you to just write that out. You can bullet it, you can write sentences, but take 2 minutes and write down your problem. You all have a problem? We all have a problem, right? You all have a problem. All right, you're summarized on one single sticky note. We did it. Now I want you to have some table discussion about your problem. Share with your table group. Each of you take a minute, right? Share what's on your Post-it note and ask questions about it. Like, make sure that you understand what the problem is. We'll just do one more minute, you guys. Just one more minute to wrap up your problem sharing. therapeutic, isn't it? Sharing your problems. It's good to talk about it out loud.
There's a little bit of conversation happening on Zoom right now. I don't know, do you want us to like write those comments down, bring them to you? Do you want us to like log into a device and bring it so you can see what the chat is if you care to comment on those things
I'd
at all?
love to.
Or do you just want to look at the chat? Because people are kind of proposing issues and talking about it together.
I love it.
Online. Do you want that?
Yeah. Can they be a group of their own? Can they be a group?
Yeah.
Is it like a table group? Can we facilitate them being a table group?
Cool.
Yeah, love that.
Do you want me to log into the Zoom from your device so that you can see it, or do you want us to just ask them to present whatever?
I'd like them to ask. I'd like them to act as if they're a table.
Okay.
So yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Therapeutic, right? It's good to share your problems. It's good to talk about it out loud. Come back to me. All right, I've got another tool for you. At your table, you should have a sheet of dots. Do you have a sheet of dots? Yes. Okay, wave your dots. I don't know if this has a formal name. I call it the dot tool. I think it's formally called n divided by 3. You're going to take the number of problems you have, right? Maybe you've got the number of people that you have at the table. Maybe you have a little bit more. You're going to divide that by 3. You can go fudge a little up. You can fudge a little down. I'm not the math police here, right? Decide, and then each person is going to get that number of dots. So go figure out how many dots you're going to get. Do your math. The number of problems divided by 3. Doesn't matter. All right, you guys have dots. Everybody do their math, right? Everybody got a dot, maybe 2? Yes, hopefully. What's that? Your problems added up for the table. Yes, yes. Right? If you've got 10 people, right, you probably have at least 10 problems. So your table problems. How many table problems divided by 3? You guys are good. Good? These guys are redoing their dots. We'll give them a minute. Okay. You've shared about your problems, right? It's been very therapeutic. Now we're going to pick a problem, just one problem. So you're going to use your dots, and you're going to put them on the problem that you'd like to solve today. Maybe it's the problem that will impact financial wellness the most, right? But whatever you're passionate about. Here's the rules around placing your dots. You can, hold on. You guys are getting all stick happy over there. Okay, you can place your dots on one item. If you've got 2 dots, you can place them on the same item. You can place them on your item. You don't have to place them on your item, right? So go stick your dots wherever you'd like to on your table's problems, okay? David, can we pass the mic for this next spot? Melanie or Sunshine? All right. Are you guys, we've stuck our dots on our problems. Yes? Is there a clear winner? Do you guys have a clear winner? Do you need to have a runoff? Yes, you have a problem. Okay. You have a problem. All right. We're looking for one problem to be identified from the table. You got a winning problem or a losing problem, right? One problem. Everybody got a problem? All right. We're going to pass the mic. I'd love to hear what your problems are. It's group therapy. Yeah. Let's start here.
Oh, here. Okay, so the problem we chose was we need to hire a new FTE for our team, and we need to determine which FTE to fill on our team. So do we move someone up and reclassify them, or do we bring someone new outside of the team?
Okay. Great. Good problem to have. All right. Let's keep going. I want to hear the rest of your problems. Guys, it's also like we understand this problem, right? Yes, we get it. Yes. Yes. Go ahead.
Our problem is employee engagement and keeping people in the office engaged with people outside the office and feeling like they're all part of one team.
Totally. Get it. Yep.
Since we're sponsored by Red Dot, we used all our red dots to identify staffing shortages as our problem to solve. Staffing shortages.
Like that.
Our question was, problem. How do we have one group that keeps asking us about doing enrollments that we don't do? Which
You
we
want that
really
problem
don't
to go
do.
away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our problem is that our price estimates that we give to patients for their hospital and professional services are not as accurate as we'd like them to be, and patients often don't understand the estimate. So trying to improve the estimates on those fronts.
Yeah. That's great. More problems. Yeah. Where you at?
We had a three-way tie, so I'm going to mention the one that wasn't mentioned, and it just so happens to have been mine. Our problem is inconsistent processes among staff.
Okay. All right. I'm going to challenge you guys to pick a problem, right, before we move to the next exercise. Maybe whoever has the mic, right? It could be louder. I don't know.
Are you ready? Or no? Our problem is that our billing models are not documented.
Our problem was denials, and we all had a different denial on there. One was VA denials, one was past timely denials. Incorrect denials from payers, but just denials overall.
Is it on?
Good.
And then our online audience participated as one table, and they said that their idea is there are too many urgent tasks that need to be completed right away, how to prioritize.
Everything's on fire. Yeah. Okay. Good problems, you guys. Good problems. Tell me, you don't tell me, right? Because we don't have time to move the mic. But I want you to think about this, reflect on this. It's powerful, right? To be able to write some stuff down, to be able to share aloud, to be able to commiserate, right? A little bit with your partners, with your teammates, and be like, okay, let's really talk about work today. Not just do the work, but let's really talk about the work. There's power in all of that. Okay. We're moving into solutioning of these problems. Don't move yet, but you are physically going to move to a large Post-it note that is around the room. There is one large Post-it note per table, and we're going to use that space in just a few minutes, not quite yet. Reiterate your problem at your table, and then even though it's not your problem, you're smart people. You've got ideas about this problem. You've got considerations, right, that somebody should make. I want you to write down one solution per sticky note. And go crazy. You got 10 solutions or 10 things that should be considered for this particular problem, write down 10. One solution per sticky note, all on your own. You're not talking to your partners yet, right? Just start solutioning, right? I'm gonna give you 3 or 4 minutes. Some of those are fat.
I'll just, do you want?
Yeah, yeah. Whatever you, yeah, take what you need.
I'll just take that, just for some people around the table.
Yep.
They need to.
Totally. Keep going. Lots of smart people in the room. Should be lots of solutions, lots of sticky notes. Let them fly. Okay, I want you guys to pick one person from each table, roll all of those sticky notes into one individual, and then you're going to read them aloud so everybody can hear everybody's solutions at your table. So push them all to one person. You guys are going to read them aloud at your table. And go. All right. Hopefully you guys have gotten through your list. There may be some common themes, right? You may have some people could have had very similar ideas, right? So there's now an opportunity for you to bundle them up, right? Or group like ideas together. So we might start with 20 and you may move down to 15, right? So you're looking for some unique themes. So bundle them, right? Or match them up if that feels right. Lots of good solutions out there. Hard to pick which one to move forward with, right? Lots of good ideas. So next up, we are, I'm going to speak real slowly and tell everybody. All right, let's prioritize our solutions, shall we? On your large white sticky note, you're going to draw a 4-part quadrant. I will demonstrate with my superior skills over here. All right, you can take up the whole piece of paper. Actually, I draw this a lot. It's right here, just like that, right? Giant cross. We're going to have, I'm going to actually have you move, right? We're going to get, let's get loud, right? Go to a Post-it note, claim it for your table. All of you go gather around your thing. Bring your Post-it note, draw a 4-part quadrant. If you need a large marker, I've got you. Yeah, you can use whatever you want to use. But I have extras if you need them. It is, isn't it? Just, you got it. Oh, yes, right? The labels. All right. Quadrant, do you guys need a marker? Yes. I've got some extras over here. If you need a marker. All right, you have incredible drawing skills. You are doing a fantastic job. I have a hard time with my axes. I never remember which one's the X and which one's the Y. On the left-hand side, I want you to write impact. The word impact, right? Right here, impact. Right here, impact. See it? See, impact. And on the bottom, I want you to write effort. Effort across the bottom. Effort is the word across the bottom. If you want to get even more specific, right, the upper left-hand quadrant is going to be high impact. The bottom left-hand quadrant will be low impact, right? High impact, low impact. It's going to carry across. Effort. On the left, we have low effort. On the right, we have high effort. High. We good? Low impact, high impact, low effort, and easy effort. We're going to take each and every single one of your solutions, sticky notes, and we're going to ask the group, right, your table group, 2 questions. And you have to come to some consensus, right, around this. You're going to ask, is this high or low impact? That's your first question. High impact or low impact? That's going to tell you which side of the coin, which side of our quadrant we're going to be on. The left side or the right side, our impact. And then you're going to ask the secondary question, is this high or low effort? And that's going to determine where you're at on the bottom, right? High or low effort. So your upper left-hand column, if you guys want to label them, right? High impact and low effort. Bottom left is low impact and low effort. Bottom right is low impact and high effort. And upper right-hand corner is high impact and high effort. So you take each and every single one of your solutions. As a group, you're going to ask those 2 questions, and you're going to go place your solutions in one of 4 quadrants. you guys doing? Do you have anything in the middle? Do you have anything on the line? Have something on the line. Oh, your problem on the line. Very good. Yeah, brilliant. Do you? I don't know. I'll tell you all about it in a minute. All right, if you have anything on the line, right? Sometimes it's hard to make a decision. You're like, well, this one's medium. It's not high, it's not low, it's medium. I'm gonna need you to make a decision, right? One way or another. Take your stuff off the line and move it into one quadrant or another. It's hard, right? It is hard. As soon as you get done sticking your solutions in the quadrant, you guys can take your seat. All right, stick them on there. And then take your seat.
So if you guys are done sticking your sticky notes on there, you can take a seat.
I see the people that have the problems are doing a good job of taking a picture of their solutions, right? You can bring those home, right? You can bring those back to work tomorrow. All right, have a seat as soon as you get your solutions stuck. All right, let's talk about what those quadrants mean, right? And what you should do with them next. Again, like sometimes I make up my own names for things. Of the upper left-hand quadrant that is high impact and easy effort, I call those the gems, right? Nice little star, right? Can go in that corner. Those, right? Let's think about it, right? High impact, you determine it's gonna make a big difference towards your goal. Relatively easy to do. This is where you want to prioritize your work, right? High effort, high impact, low effort, easy to do. But you guys had a lot of great things, right? They were over in the upper right-hand quadrant, right? They were high impact but hard to do. Hard, you guys, sometimes when you're answering that question, it's just like a lot of effort. Maybe it's a lot of money, right? Maybe it's a lot of resources. Your hard, right, could be variable in terms of what you're trying to solve. But those items are called projects, right? You're going to need to put some time and energy into those items, but it might not be as quick as some of the things that are in your gems, right? So those are your hearts, your projects. Bottom left, right? It was low impact, but relatively easy to do. Those are your fillers. Yeah, pepper them in, you know, as time, and like they're kind of just do-its, right? They should be relatively simple, and they shouldn't, but they're also not changing the world either. And then the bottom right-hand quadrant, it's the kill zone. They're hard to do and they're low effort. Just forget about them, at least for now, right? They're not making it in your priority list. So that's going to help. Instead of solving all the things, you get all the solutions. We're really going to start prioritizing the gems, right? You're going to pepper in, right, some of your filler, and you're going to plan, like you're going to start dedicating some time to those projects that are going to make part of that effort. As you work through an exercise like this with your team, it starts to make complete sense, right? Just like it does for you, it's going to make complete sense for them. Like instead of solving all the world's problems or trying to fix the one thing that's in the upper right-hand quadrant that's going to take a year, right, to implement, like let's help focus on the things that are really gems that can make some quicker differences and still have high impact overall. Okay. All right, stars, hearts, check marks, X's, right? I like to make that on my sticky note so I remember if any sticky notes fall off later, you know, what was a gem, what was a project, etc. Okay, and then we got the old WWW, right? What needs to be done, by who, and when? As you are working with your teams, some of these projects, right, these workouts, these team meetings that you're having, sometimes you can solve a problem, right, in 60 minutes. Like you can really work on it and you can bust out what's going to happen next, right? What's your action plan next? Don't ever assign somebody a task that isn't in the room. Not fair, right? So as you label out everything start with your gems, right? Okay, what needs to happen in order for this project to, what are our next steps, right? So write all of those down, assign somebody that's in the room, not today, but in the room, right, who's going to do it and by when, right? By your next meeting date, right? Maybe there's a different date that needs to have it. Make it clear, right? Being clear is kind. You need to have a robust WWW. Some of these projects, like I said, you're going to be able to solve and have a WW and get everything situated in the next couple weeks. Some of them you're going to need to have repeat meetings where you're solving multiple problems, right, over multiple series, right, of workouts or events. But the idea remains the same, right? You're doing it together. You're not doing it in a silo. You're not just sitting in your office trying to fix all the problems, right? You're doing it collaboratively. I want to tell you a story about a time that I did not do this well and the lessons that it taught me and how it led to some transformation on my part. Roll you back. We were in 2016 for a minute. Now let's settle into 2015. I feel like I'm really dating myself now. It's such a long time ago. I was working for a large hospital in the Portland metro area, managing a team of about 85 individuals in that hospital environment. I had, again, grown up in healthcare, grown up in hospitals. I'd been to Prov Hood River and then St. Vincent and then back to Hood River and then was at Prov Portland. During my time there, lots of changes happening, par for the course, right? That's just the way it is in healthcare. And I found myself situated in a lot of turnover, a lot of sort of mediocre results, and yeah, just not really quite sure what was going on. Staffing at the time, I mean, probably no different than it is now. Hard to get positions posted. It takes so long to even be able to see applicants to be able to fill positions. And I was losing people faster than I could bring them on. So I have a conversation with my director, and she says, you need to talk to your team about what's going on, with this. I was like, absolutely, I'm on board, right? So I crafted an email. I explained to my team the hiring process. This is not what it takes, right? This is what's happening. We're going to fill these positions. This is our priority position. Hang on with me, it's going to be okay. We're going to make it through. And then, because we are so short-staffed, I have got to go down to the emergency department and cover a break, right? So I'm like 2 levels of leadership in. We don't have any staffing. I sort of know how to arrive a patient into the ED, and I'm going to go cover a 15, 20-minute break down in the emergency department. And my director calls through on the line. I see her name. I pick up the phone. I said, hey, did you see my draft email? She said, I saw it. I said, yeah, what do you think? Do you have any feedback for me? She says, it's terrible. I was like, okay. What's wrong with it? Did I get something wrong? And she says, you didn't share why this is happening. I was like, well, do tell. Why is this happening? She's like, you're not identifying the problem. I said, what's the problem? She said, you're the problem. Ooh, right? In that moment, you guys, I heard Bon Jovi on repeat, shot through the heart, you're to blame. I'm like, okay, right? I just need a minute. I go back to my office. I have all the feelings, right? Realizing that, one, that was probably not the right place to make that phone call, Number two, I probably was part of the problem. And I had to do the work to figure out what my part of the solution was in that problem. Within that work, right, there's, it didn't happen overnight, right? There were tears, there was chocolate, I'm sure, right? There was probably cursing. I needed a minute. And then I really kind of come to some areas of self-reflection to be able to like, what is my role in this? Within that process, I found a tool called the Johari window. It is another 4-part square, you guys. You can do any drawing skills are welcome, right? Here. The Johari window was created by a guy named Joe and a guy named Harry. They combined their name. They were psychologists, and they're using it as a self-reflection tool. Also a feedback tool. So in this quadrant, you have the arena, right? Things that are known to yourself and others know about you as well, right? You know about yourself and others know about you. They're the things that are out on display, right, in front of you. And then you have this area called your facade, where things are not known to others, but you know them. You just haven't shared them, right? For whatever reason, right? They're not really out in the public, right? Your facade. And then the upper right-hand corner, right, are things that other people know about you or they suspect about you, but you don't realize it yourself, right? This is your blind spot. And then there's the fourth quadrant where there are things that you don't yet know about yourself and things that others don't know about you as well. The goal is to get real with yourself and to have others get real with you as well in order to figure out where things land on your quadrant. You want to bring more things into the arena, right? So those things that are in your facade, you can start sharing a little bit, right, with people. You can let those things out of the bag, right, and bring them into your arena. The things that you don't know about yourself but others know about you, you got to start getting true with yourself and be like, okay, I need to own that, right? I need to figure that out. I got to work on that, and I need to be more transparent around it as well. This work that I did around it has, as cheesy as it sounds, life-changing. Life-changing for my leadership, life-changing for how I parent, right? How I'm in a relationship. This quadrant is an exercise that you go through multiple times. Here is my 2015 quadrant, you guys. Known to self, known to others. I was a hard worker. Nobody was going to argue with that. I was results-driven. I had moved up in leadership multiple times. Nobody was going to argue with that. The things that I was not sharing with others, but I knew I was funny, damn it. Like I could tell a story, like I could have a good time. I also much preferred to do things myself instead of waiting for others. And I tried to keep that a secret, right? That I preferred to just do it myself. Things that people knew about me that I was either unaware of completely or not ready to admit was that I appeared unapproachable, right? Suffered from a little bit of RBF. Walking down the hallway, it's hereditary, that RBF, you should ask my mom. So I looked unapproachable, right? So people were not coming to me to talk to me about ideas, right? I was in the zone, I was on my way somewhere, there's things to do. And I appeared unapproachable. And changes were happening too quick, and they were not inclusive. So everybody else felt that. They felt, right, that things were happening too quickly, their opinions weren't mattering. That work, getting real with myself around what that looked like, asking for that feedback from others, dealing with said feedback from others and working through it so that I could bring more of those things out. I could not have had this conversation with you 10 years ago, or 8, whenever years ago it was, right? It's taken me time to be able to really be that level of vulnerable with a crowd of strangers. But I'm going to encourage you to draw your own Johari window. Do some self-reflection on it. Spend 30 minutes with it. And then go ask your spouse, right? What do they see about you that you may not see about yourself? Ask your best friend, right? Ask your colleagues, ask your teammate, ask your director, ask your caregivers, right? And allow it to be a safe space so that they can share with you. You are going to be a better leader. You're going to be a better employee, better parent, better spouse, all the way around because of it. So the Johari window. You know how to draw a quadrant, so I won't make you draw a quadrant, but I trust that you can get there. Change is everywhere. We're talking about change management, process improvement. It's been a little while since I've been in the healthcare space specifically. I do this thing on the regular. You can apply these tools anywhere, right? You can apply them at home. A couple of examples of a way that I'm doing it. I work with a dairy farm. It's a family farm that is transitioning leadership, right, of their family farm to the next generation while mitigating about $1 million in debt and a whole lot of dairy cows at the same time. Working with a couple in New Jersey that has about $150K in consumer debt and I plan to pay it off in the next 2 years. These are changes, right? It's process improvement, right? You can find them in your home. You don't just have to find them at work. You can apply these tools anywhere. Process improvement and change management are just fancy ways of saying that we need to do something better together. Not alone, right? It is better to do it together. It's your turn. I taught you a few tools. We practiced a few tools. You probably have a favorite or two. Now it's really up to you to create real change, and I will implore you not to wait. You don't have to wait to start next month or next quarter or next year. You can implement these changes right away. I'd say tomorrow. Okay. That's it. That's me. Time for questions. I am here for it. Somebody asked me something, right? Something silly. Yes, do.
What, on the Johari, the bottom right, is it always blank?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's always blank. We don't know. I don't know. You don't know. Yeah. The idea is, I wish I would have drawn it for you, is that your upper left-hand quadrant gets bigger. You know, it becomes more of a square, and the others become smaller little rectangles, right? So you have more things that get put into your arena. Yep. There's always this opportunity, right, to grow, to reflect, to learn more about ourselves. The older I get, you know, the easier it is, for sure. Yeah, other questions?
Any other questions?
Yeah. I think she's putting on the mic.
I was wondering if you have any favorite sort of day-to-day tools to keep yourself organized, you know, because you have these projects and there are all kinds of tasks. So have you found a really effective way, like using, you know, different systems or organizational methods for yourself?
Yep. I absolutely use this own exercise on myself when I work on like my time management, right? When I think about all the things that there are to do, right, in a day, a week, a month, a quarter, and then prioritizing them in those ways and making sure that I fill my calendar first with the gems, right? And then some filler tasks. That kill zone, sometimes it really does go away, or it's a delegation, right? Delegation quadrant. The filler tasks can also be delegation quadrants. And then the things that land in the upper right hand are projects, right? Where I need to dedicate, you know, 2-3 hours a week to be able to start picking away at this, or it'll never get done. And then electronically, I love some project management tools like Trello. Yeah, one of my favorite tools to use to stay organized. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Nothing in the chat, right? They're good? Okay. I'm going to stick around for lunch, so if you're feeling shy, you want to ask later, I'm happy to chat. Thanks, you guys. Yeah.